Let's take a look at how you can utilize your iPad to personalize the experience you have in a lecture or seminar or any group sessions you might have where there's content being delivered from the lecturer at the front of the room. Well, the first thing to highlight is if the lecturer is delivering in Keynote or in PowerPoint, they'll be able to share this Keynote or PowerPoint directly with you through AirDrop. On your device, you just need to make sure that you have it set up to be able to allow AirDrop to happen. To do this, if you go to the top right corner where the battery icon is, drag down, then tap on the icon here, and just make sure that that's set to everyone. Now you can turn it off at the end of a lecture to make sure that you don't get anyone sending anything to you if you don't want to, but just make sure it's on to everyone at the time you need it to be shared in a lecture. At that point, you'll be able to then receive the lecture as it's being delivered from the teacher. Now that's going to give you a couple of possibilities. One, you now have the access to be able to annotate directly over the presentation. To do this, if I just take a screenshot and then tap on that document, you'll notice at the top of the screen it says screen and then full page. If I go to full page, it's now quickly translated that whole presentation into a PDF and then brought up my drawing tools for me to be able to annotate over the top. So now I have these tools that I can change the colors, etc., to highlight different things that I might want to highlight on the screen, as you can see here. Now if I just move my finger along the bar to the side, I can scroll through each one of those presentations and I can just make my annotations as I need to. When I'm done, I can tap done and you'll see that I can save that PDF to files, which is going to keep it nicely organized for me on my device. Now, a quick tip here, it's always useful to make sure that you are thinking about where you save everything. And you'll notice at the bottom of this list, I've got one set for university and I could start to file everything away. Along the top, you'll notice that there is a folder icon with a plus next to it. If I tap on there, I can create new folders that I might need. In this case, I'll say this is digital work. Tap done. That creates that folder for me. Tap save. And that's all stored away for me to use at a later date when I might want to revisit anything. Now there's also a second way that you can do this, and this is a new update in iPad OS 15, and that's something called Quick Notes. Now Quick Notes works by dragging up from the bottom right hand corner, and you'll see that it gives you this option to capture a quick note. This basically just provides me with this hover screen over the top of the screen that I'm using, so it could be on this, it could be on a Safari website, etc., and I can make my notes specifically in a separate place. So if I want to leave the presentation completely untouched, I can make my notes directly over the top. Again, this could be handwritten notes, or you could also just type directly onto this as well. So there's two ways that you can access your notes over the top of presentations to really help you interact with session delivery. One other thing to highlight here is the accessibility. Now you'll notice in many cases your lecturers will share you presentations and they might have different colour backgrounds and different colour text, etc. And that can be difficult for some people to view depending on their individual needs. But what we can do on the device is start to think about changing the device to support us so it's based on the device itself and not relying on lecturers making sure that they've turned their device, their presentations into a certain colour. Now to do this, if I go to settings on my device and go to accessibility, you'll notice there's a whole range of things here that you can use to personalise the device to suit your specific needs. The one we're going to focus on at first though is the display and text size. And in here you'll notice there's lots of different things that you can do which work across the device, not just specific to any individual application. That means that if I change the settings, it changes for everything that I'm doing. Now there's a few things to just highlight here that can really help with how you view any presentations. You can turn on Smart Invert or Classic Invert, which just reverses the colours on the display. If you do that in Smart Invert, it does keep the color styles for certain types of media. The other thing though that you can change is color filters. And if I turn on color filters, you'll notice straight away that I have some bespoke set color filters that I can change. These ones are based around color blindness and different types of color blindness. I can also change the color tint though, and this is where you can absolutely fine-tune how you want to have your display set up. You'll notice that just by changing the intensity or the hue, the colors at the top change in accordance to how best I will see that. And if I change that and then go back to the main screen, you'll notice that stays there. And if I go back to that keynote presentation, again, it stays on the screen. So do bear that in mind if you need to personalize your device so that you can access presentations and not have to have that awkward moment at the start of a lecture to ask the lecturer to change the color of their background. It just means that you can personalize how you access everything on the device. So there we go. Just a few ways to just help you personalize how you interact with lectures and support you with your note-taking and organization when using an iPad in higher education.